The long-awaited Michael movie is finally here, and as someone who's grown up listening to Michael Jackson's music, I was really curious to see whether this film could capture both the scale of his career and the man behind the legend. The story follows Michael Jackson's rise from the early days of the Jackson 5 in the 1960s all the way through to the beginning of the Bad Tour in 1988. And honestly, that's a huge amount of ground to cover in one movie. The film does recreate many of the most iconic moments from both Michael's solo career and the Jackson 5 era, and fans are definitely going to appreciate just how much history the movie attempts to cover. But because there's so much material packed into the runtime, the movie sometimes feels like it's moving at lightning speed from one major moment to the next. A lot of scenes almost have a montage-like quality to them, briefly touching on moments that honestly could have entire movies dedicated to them. From the rise of the Jackson 5 to Michael breaking out on his own with the Off the Wall album, there are so many fascinating chapters here that sometimes don't get enough room to breathe emotionally. Now, if you're already a Michael Jackson fan, I think you'll probably enjoy the fast pace because of how much of his life the movie explores. But if you're someone who isn't already invested in Michael or his music, the pacing may feel a little overwhelming at times. When it comes to the direction, Antoine Fuqua does a really solid job behind the camera. He brings the kind of confidence and cinematic polish you'd expect from a veteran Hollywood director, especially during the dance numbers and musical sequences, which are easily the centerpiece of the film. The concert recreations are genuinely impressive. There are also quieter moments that work really well too, scenes with Michael spending time with Bubbles, or moments showing him creating music during the making of Thriller. But I do think the movie, and especially the script, could have gone deeper into what actually made Michael such a creative genius in the first place. That side of him is touched on, but never explored as deeply as I hoped. Having said that, if you're going into this movie wanting an entertaining musical biopic with strong performances and iconic recreations, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Without question, the standout performance here is Jaafar Jackson as Michael. From the mannerisms to the voice, the dancing, the body language, Jaafar fully commits to the role. And what's honestly kind of surreal is just how much he feels like Michael on screen. There are moments where you genuinely forget you're watching an actor. The supporting cast is excellent as well, but Carmen Domingo especially stands out as Joe Jackson. In many ways, Joe becomes the villain of the movie, and Domingo brings a real sense of intimidation and menace to the role. His scenes with Jafar are some of the most emotionally intense moments in the film, especially when Michael starts trying to break away from his family and become his own artist. Now, obviously, you can't review a Michael Jackson movie without talking about the music. From Wannabe Starting Something to Beat It, Thriller, and Bad, the soundtrack is packed with iconic songs. And for longtime Michael Jackson fans, hearing these tracks recreated on the big screen is a huge part of what makes this movie enjoyable. But again, I do wish the film spent more time exploring Michael's creative process, especially his working relationship with Quincy Jones during the Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad albums. That collaboration changed music history, and I think the movie could have explored that dynamic in a much deeper way. Overall, Michael definitely has more highs than lows. The movie delivers some amazing recreations of Michael Jackson's most famous musical moments, both on stage and in the recording studio. Jaafar Jackson is fantastic in the lead role, Carmen Domingo brings real weight to Joe Jackson, and the film moves along at a very brisk and entertaining pace. That said, I do think the movie holds back slightly when it comes to exploring some of Michael's deeper emotional struggles and the true depth of his creative genius. Still, as a large-scale musical biopic and celebration of his career, it absolutely succeeds. So overall, I'm going to give Michael a 7 out of 10.